Hello everybody, welcome to our English class. Today we have grade 9, unit 8, what if. So today we have period number 8, page 11. So let's start. And today we have a grammar, conditional clause again, if clause today, but we have type 2. And type 2 is we talk about something imaginary in the present. What do I mean by imaginary in the present? Imagine that you are in your place at home, in the class, wherever you are, and for example thinking about something it's unreal. For example, I'm here at home, thinking about something else. For example, I say if I were a doctor, if I stayed at home, not go anywhere. So everything I imagine, even when I am at home or any place, so this is unreal. So because it's unreal, I put the sentence in the past. So the rule of type 2 is this. The first part, if, and plus past simple. And past simple, the rule is subject plus verb 2 plus object. So the first part, if past simple, comma, and the second part we have would plus infinitive. And I can change would and put could, might, should, must, what had to instead. Okay, so the rule is in the first part I have if past simple, the second part I have would and plus infinitive. All of them should followed by infinitive. And we can change the sentence and put the second part first and if part second. We can say would plus infinitive, if plus past simple. Here in this case we don't put comma because if comes to connect the two sentences together, or the two parts. And keep in your mind, everybody, when we have he, she, it, in the past take was, while they, we, you, and I take were, and two lines under I and where, because generally in any other tenses, if I say I can say I was, always I was, but in type 2 the I take were because it's something unreal. For example, I can say if I were a doctor, and I'm not a doctor, so if I say if I were a doctor, I could give medicine to anybody. Here we have a sentence. If I had $1 million, so, and because I don't have any money, for example, and I don't have $1 million, so the sentence is if I had $1 million and it's unreal, so I put it in type 2 in the past. If I had $1 million and this is imaginary, not real, I would travel to many countries. Okay, and I can change the sentence and put the second part first. I would travel to many countries if I had $1 million. And be careful, as I said before, when I have I with was, I have to change it to were in type 2. So I can say if I were you, I would study more and more, but I'm not you. So I can change was to were because it's unreal. If I were a king, I would for example give everybody what he has. If I were a doctor, as I said, if I were the head teacher, whatever, if I were an engineer, if I were your dad, I could do something else for you. So when I say I was, I have to change it to I were, if I were. Okay, now let's come to the second part, or do an exercises about our lesson. I have to, okay. So the first sentence, if the oil started burning, and this is imaginary in present, I imagine that if the oil started burning, what should I do? I would turn off the cooker. So here we have two parts, the first part with if, past simple, the second part with would, and we put the verb infinitive afterward. Number two, if you used a powerful chemical cleaner, this would remove the stain. Number three, if that did not work, you could use a gentle chemical cleaner. Number four, you might not remove the stain completely if you did that. Now look at the examples again. Take the best way to complete the statements. Example number one. Example 1 and 2 are about things that are happening or only imagine happening, and we call this type 2 conditional. Yeah, it is imaginary, actually it's not real. Number 2, the unreal situation is in part what of the sentence? Part with F or the part with not F? Yeah, it's also with F. If you had $1 million, it's not real. So if I say this is, it's unreal, so I can say the F part is the unreal situation. Number 3, the verb in the if part is past simple or present simple? Yes, of course, it's in the past simple. So after if we put past simple. Number 4, the verb in the other part is in the form had plus infinitive or would plus infinitive? Of course, would plus infinitive. Number 5, examples 3 and 4 show that the verbs in type 2 conditional can only positive or can be positive or negative. Of course, can be positive and negative. And number 6, example 4 shows that the if part can only come first in the sentence or can also come in the second sentence. Of course, can become first and second. Okay, everybody, now let's come to exercise number 2. Here in this exercise, walk in pairs, say what you would do if you were in these situations. Choose answer from the box. Let's read the box, give first aid and call a doctor. Go back and look for it. Look up the answer on the internet. Give him or her some of mine. Hold it under cold running water. Look after him or her and look for the mother. Now these are the answers of these situations. Now number 1, you burn your hand just a little. For example, by touching a hot pan. What do you do? So what do we do is this: we need to change the sentence with if clause type 2, and we say it like this: if I burned my hand just a little, I would hold it under cold water, cold running water, as they say. Now this is crossed by, because they use it, they cross it out. Now what about number 2? Your friend forgets to bring a picnic lunch, for example, on a school trip. What do? Change it to if clause type 2. If, and you don't forget, if you start with if, put past simple after. If my friend forgot to bring picnic lunch on a school trip, I would give him or her some of mine. Okay. Now, number 3. If my friend forgot to bring picnic lunch on the school trip, I would give him or her some of mine. Now, what about the second sentence? Number 3. You lose your purse somewhere in town. If you lost your purse somewhere in town, okay, I would go back. It becomes I would go back and look for it. Okay. Here, if I lost my purse somewhere in town, I would go back and look for it. Number 4. A neighbor suddenly becomes sick and collapses. If a neighbor suddenly became sick and collapsed, I would what? Yes, I would give him first aid and call a doctor. Number 5. You see a small child on a busy road alone. What should you do? If I saw a small child on a busy road, I would look after him or her and look for the mother. And the last one, someone asks you a different question about Palestine. If someone asked you a difficult question about Palestine, okay, I would look up the answer on the internet. So let's see the answers. If the neighbor suddenly became sick, if I saw a small child on a busy road, I would look after him or her and look for the mother. And number 6, if someone asked me a difficult question about Palestine, I would look up the answer on the internet. So in this part we reached the end of our lesson, everybody. Have a nice day and see you next time.